Hey, what's up everybody? This is Osterberg501 and today I want to go over an upcoming third-person RPG looter shooter called Project Magnum. The Project Magnum title is also a working title, so that may change in the future. Now, we don't actually have a ton of information past the recently released trailer, but Project Magnum is being developed by Nat Games. Now, looking up some Korean articles going over Project Magnum, Nat Games is also called Net Games when the Korean is translated to English, so I'm not exactly sure which one exactly. I think it would be Nat Games for us, and there's just some weird translation with the name. And it is going to be published worldwide by Nexon Games. Now, the game is going to be a third-person RPG with sci-fi styled fantasy, which you can pretty clearly see from the trailer. And you're going to have a lot of the stuff you would expect in a game like this. You have different characters, different abilities, giant boss battles, and we can also see from the trailer that they are going to be not only fighting with guns, but they also showed off a rocket launcher and melee weapons. And a lot of articles are saying it's like Final Fantasy meets Destiny. Now, I do definitely understand some of the Final Fantasy elements because some of the stuff in the trailer definitely draws back to that. But personally, besides the massive alien sphere in the trailer, most of the stuff doesn't really seem a lot like Destiny to me. A lot of the art style doesn't really remind me that much of Destiny besides that it's sci-fi. It does much more look like Final Fantasy, but in a sci-fi style. And in general, just from the trailer, which is going to mostly be cinematic and in-engine stuff, I do like the way that the game and the art style looks. And there is a decent bit of information we can take from the trailer, just some of the stuff that's shown off. You have a fully automatic rifles, you have a rocket launcher, you have a shotgun, and at one point they also show someone using a big two-handed hammer. So it seems like they're going to have a mix of modern day weapons, just kind of sci-fi versions of them, mixed in with melee weapons, which makes sense for a game that is going with a mix of fantasy and sci-fi elements. Then they show off what looks to be some character abilities. So you have one of the female characters creating what looks to be like a kind of tornado where she lifts up a bunch of enemies and spins them around. You have one of the other characters using what looks to be like a magic grappling hook where they hook themselves up on a ledge. You also have one of the enemies using a massive shield. Not sure if that would just be an enemy thing or if, since they're having melee weapons, they're also going to have stuff like a shield. Then they also show off what looks to be someone throwing a kind of vortex grenade that pulls in all of these enemies together, which would pretty clearly fit into the aesthetic of the game. And then you do also have one of the characters that look like they're transforming themselves into kind of an armored suit, less like a mech, more like an Iron Man armored up suit, where they then go in for a melee attack on one of the bosses. So maybe that's something like an ultimate. And then past that, you mainly just have some additional gameplay that shows off some more weapons. Like I said, you have rocket launchers, shotgun, fully automatic rifles. There seems to be some amount of customization because some of the rifles don't have sights and then one of them has a red dot sight on it. So some possible weapon customization. Then it also looks like you can see a sniper, some DMRs. Then at one point they're running and it looks like some of the weapons they have on their backs are different colors. So that could possibly just be that specific weapon being a different color, or maybe it's showing off some type of cosmetics or cosmetic customization for some of the different weapons. And also something to note is that some of this trailer is cinematic footage, but some of it is also showing a HUD-less gameplay. And with that, it would most likely be in-engine rendered gameplay and wouldn't actually be someone playing the game without a HUD on, which usually means that the graphics aren't necessarily going to look like that, because that could just be them rendering something in the engine with the max out graphics for that engine possible. But it could show you kind of the aesthetic and scale of the gameplay just with much higher graphical levels than would most likely be in the game once it's released. But that's pretty much all the information we have for Project Magnum. In my opinion, I'm liking the art style and the aesthetic of the game. Now, we have no idea when this is going to be released, and it's just a cinematic and some in-engine HUD-less footage. So before getting hyped or excited, we'd have to wait for actual gameplay somewhere further down the road. So subscribe if you want to see more videos going over this game or any other game. Leave a like if you liked the video. Leave a comment down below what you guys think about the small amount of information we have for this new looter shooter. And thanks for watching.